Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us on this Friday night on the Franchising 360 show, where we take a full 360-degree view of franchising, and we've got a very different view of franchising tonight. I am Tim Parmeter. With me, as always, is Danielle Wright.
Hi.
Danielle, we talked right around in the new year. We talked about, did the traditional, let's look back at the year that just ended, look ahead at the new year.
Struggling with that. Was the going into the new year not that easy for you?
It was a little rough. When you get to be my age, that we're getting close to the birthday time.
Oh, okay.
It's a struggle, but we made what probably are 100% predictions of what's going to happen in franchising.
Of course, because we have magic balls, except we don't, predict lotto numbers or anything.
At the end of 2025, if anybody wants to go back and fact check us, and if we're wrong, we'll edit that out.
Sure. Okay.
But one of the things was kind of, again, the growing use of technology.
Yeah.
AI,
yes.
ChatGPT.
My favorite thing.
I know you are a super early adopter and have already gone through some training and classes of our guest tonight.
Yeah, super excited.
So we've got a guest that is going to join us to talk a lot about franchising, but in particular, Patti, Rother, Ingrid Schneider, their team at Stay in Your Lane are doing some amazing things with AI. Tell us a little bit about what you've seen so far.
A lot. I mean, I signed up for a class with them. I'm mainly franchise development. We've discussed that a lot here. And there are new and different ways to utilize the AI technologies that you hear them. And then most people do what? Like AI, it's going to take our jobs.
Right.
It's going to do all of these things.
It's going to be robots running the world.
Right. And that's not the case today, maybe eventually, but not today. And so how do you use it to benefit what you're looking to do? And a lot of what we do requires a lot of creative genius, and I'm not that. So it's kind of streamlined some stuff, and I learned new things. If anybody goes and checks out our social media channels, you'll see a picture of me that is so not me, but it's a beautiful AI image of me. And so it has that I want to learn, but I think it's important to be aware that it's there, use it, but don't let it be everything. It's just another tool in your toolbox. And so I thought it was important for myself to get educated, squash the fear, because we talk about that a lot here with a lot of things. Let's squash the fear of this because knowledge is power, and I'm a big fan of that.
Right. It's kind of like, probably 25, 30 years ago, I don't know about this internet thing, right? I'm sure.
AOL was knocking on your door. Who is this?
Sure. Who is this? It's just, if we can insert the dial-up sound right here, right? But no, it is. And again, I like how you said that it is a tool. I mean, is it really going to take over our entire existence?
Maybe.
I'll be dead by then if it does.
Right.
But it's, but again, anyway, I think as entrepreneurs, which anybody in the franchising world is some way, shape, or form. I mean, if you are not finding a way to evolve and try to stay, if not ahead of the curve, at least don't let it pass you by.
Right.
You've got to be able to do that.
It's relevance. And I think we talk a lot personally, and for our viewers to know, if franchising is not as forward in some of these things as we'd like them to be, right? There's a lot of great concepts. There's a lot of great things that they do to keep up with the times and stay ahead of consumer trends. But when you're thinking about how this industry progresses, we're a little slow to the adapting to these new types of technologies. So, think about the double drive-through. There were brands doing it way before Chick-fil-A was, but now all of a sudden that's everywhere. Think about ordering on apps before you get there. That took a while. That technology existed for some time, but to adapt it and adopt it into franchise businesses has taken quite some time for that to happen.
So super excited to have our guest join us up after the break, Patti Rother, who is the president of Stay in Your Lane. I know you've known Patti for a long time. She's awesome. I'm excited to hear what she's going to have to say.
Yeah, it'll be a great interview, I'm sure.
So we will be right back with Patti Rother from Stay in Your Lane here on the Franchising 360 show. All right, we are back here on the Franchising 360 show with our guest coming from somewhere on that map behind her is joining us is Patti Rother, and Patti is the president of a fantastic business in franchising called Stay in Your Lane. Love the name. We're going to get into that. But right now, Patti, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me. It's so nice to be here.
Can you point to the map where you are?
Oh gosh, that's a trick question.
You're like, I didn't know there was
Right
going to be
here in
geography.
Colorado.
There we go. Patti, I always love asking this of people in franchising. How did you get into this crazy world?
It's probably very similar to most people in franchising who didn't expect to be in franchising. I was in college and there was a local Panera Bread opening up. I needed a job and went to their pre-opening training session. And on grand opening day, this family walked in and everyone said, "Oh, those are the owners." And in my head, I just kept thinking, you can't own a Panera Bread. This is Panera Bread. Um, Come to find out that they were a pretty large multi-unit, multi-brand franchise owner in this space for most of the Northeast. And I worked with them for quite a while through college, then transferred out to a different franchise owner group in Colorado when I moved here and got recruited out eventually by a franchisor. And at the time, it felt like going to the dark side because I had worked with the franchisees for so long. But I found that I really, really loved being part of the system of support and building everything that would help them be successful in the field. So got started in operations, which makes me a different salesperson a little bit
Right.
because my start was years and years in the field and shoulder to shoulder with franchise owners, and then fell in love with development and kind of haven't looked back. My original plan, people always laugh at this. I was a double major in college. I majored in psychology and studio art and had a plan to be an art therapist. So I was actually still pursuing my master's degree while working in franchise restaurants. I still totally believe that psychology degree serves me very, very well in
Very
franchising.
well. Yes, exactly.
Whether it's a therapy session with an upset franchise owner or a therapy session with the leadership team, I
Yes.
use it every day.
Excellent. And so, but Ben, you're absolutely right at the beginning of what you said. Like almost everybody in this industry got into it with zero intent. And even like you're like, I didn't like Panera's a franchise, right? You're just
Exactly.
going there to eat and then get a job. And who knew it's turned into this whole thing. And so you've worked
Mhm.
for a franchisee, you've worked for franchisors, and then now, you and your partner, Ingrid Schneider, who unfortunately can't join us today, but Ingrid is awesome. She's the CEO. You guys started Stay in Your Lane. What kind of drove you guys, and again, just the fantastic personality you guys have and enthusiasm, what got you guys to start Stay in Your Lane?
Yeah, it was actually Ingrid who started it, with me kind of cheering her on in the background for a while. I was really hesitant to leave kind of a franchisor corporate job position. I don't come from an entrepreneurial family. I come from the climb the corporate ladder, get all of the promotions, and like kind of create wealth that way.
Right,
And so the idea of starting a business, people are always surprised that I'm not a franchisee. It feels scary to me. I think I
right,
talk to so many people that are looking to leave corporate America and can't quite make that plunge. I would identify as one of those people for sure. And so Ingrid and I had worked together at a company called Frios Gourmet Pops. Ingrid and I have known each other for about 15 years. She's been close to my wife and knows our family. Um, so she was looking to do something, and I just kept encouraging her to start something because there was this gap in franchising that I knew needed filling. And the
right.
gap really was helping brands scale to the next phase of growth in a way that had high integrity, it had a hands-on approach, and it didn't feel like more of like a pay to play or I'm going to take all your franchise fees.
Right.
And that's really the only way for you to grow. And
Yeah.
so we were trying to dream into that, but it was really Ingrid who got it started. I helped in the background while I had kind of my normal corporate job. And about 8 months into it, came on full time as the president. So officially, kind of first employee, stay in your lane, on the books. And that was in August of last year. So what's crazy to think about is really
Right.
we're only 2 years into this company
Yeah. I
and
was going to
we've
say, it's
made
crazy
already
how
such an
fast it's gone.
incredible, it's so fast. We have an incredibly talented group of individuals who kind of came to us organically. Anytime we're trying to hire someone, one of us puts a post on LinkedIn and just the floodgates open. Everyone wants to join the team and be a part of what we're doing and what we're growing. It's been an incredible ride. Ingrid still has to pick me up off the floor sometimes and talk about how this is just part of entrepreneurship and these are growing pains that are all,
Yes.
survivable.
Well, you guys are
But it's been an
experiencing
incredible
it, but then
journey.
also helping the franchisors who are also experiencing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we're as opposite as two people can be. Ingrid is very much a visionary. She wants to move incredibly quickly. I am more of like the strategic, how are we actually going to make this happen? How are we
Right.
truly going to, make this grow in a way that's sustainable? And that works incredibly well because she pushes me outside of my comfort zone into a place of fast growth. And I kind of bring her back to earth when it's needed with systems and process and SOPs and kind of
Right.
everything that I've built over the years for
She
myself. And
she
so
wants to
it
build the
works
plane
incredibly
while it's
well.
flying, and you want to make sure it's completely built properly
I'm kind of
and then fly
behind
it.
her with all the tools, making sure we don't crash.
Yeah,
But it works
exactly.
incredibly well, and the dynamic is super fun. I mean, our team is unhinged and hilarious and human and empathetic, and it's just a great group of people.
Well, just your website in general, you can see it, and it's stayinyourlaneco.com. I mean that you guys' personality oozes all over there, and I mean that, and that's the positive ooze. I want to come back after this break and talk a little bit about you guys are really cutting edge in some of the technology, in particular AI stuff. So let's hit that up when we come back right after this break on the Franchising 360 show. And we are back here on the Franchising 360 show. Joining us is the president of Stay in Your Lane, Patti Rother. Stay in Your Lane has been doing some amazing things, and I love the two words you use to describe what you guys are doing. High integrity, I believe, are the words. Sometimes, dare we say, responsible franchising in this industry, and you guys are not just saying it, but you're actually doing it. So thank you for everything there. But you guys are really one of the, I think, kind of the leaders in the first company and first group of people I've seen talking about AI and the ways in which it can benefit franchising in general. And I'm simply fascinated by this. I can barely spell AI. So talk to us a little bit about some of the things that you guys are doing and kind of talking about in the industry.
Too. We got started in AI literally the day that ChatGPT came out. Ingrid and I were in there using the tool, texting each other screenshots of what we were building and creating and the prompts we were using. And it just really opened up an entire new pathway for the everyday person to have access to a wealth of knowledge that they otherwise may not have had or was too complicated to sort through. And so we started immediately utilizing these tools, talking about it on LinkedIn. We have a very strong presence on LinkedIn. And that organically started leading to people asking us to teach them as well. And so, somewhat by accident, we ended up being the experts in AI, offering courses to help people understand how to use these tools and really apply them. I think that was the key. A lot of our training was different than what you could find in the market. We
Right.
weren't talking heads, we weren't using big words that nobody understood. And we were ultimately getting you in the tool using prompts and actually executing things that you could apply to your job the second you left the class. And that's what really started to work and why it became wildly popular. We've now trained thousands and thousands of individuals. Whole companies have gone through our training program. And we don't just stop at training. And I think that's also what makes us unique is we talk about it, we help you implement it, but then we help you put in like a safety and ethics manual so that your team knows how to use these tools appropriately. And then we can help you implement it in a more robust way when you think about some of the things you might see people doing with AI that's more than just prompting ChatGPT, but it's I have it read my email. I have it then write a draft email based on the research on that person and the brand to then put in my inbox and have ready for my review. Those are the types of more like workflow based applications of AI that we can help brands with as well.
Yeah. So there's which again, you guys are doing something different, and change sometimes is a 4-letter word, right? And so, what's some of the maybe kind of the pushback or the fears that you've heard? Because just in general, there can be some of those things, probably more out of ignorance or the unknown with this. What have you guys seen so far?
Yeah, it's so interesting. I think some of the most common themes we hear is, "I just don't know how to use it." There's a
Right.
fear of application and still feeling like you have to have a science degree, tech degree, you have to be a coder, that these tools aren't approachable for the everyday person. If you've been following a lot of the updates through December, ChatGPT has been adding a ton of different ways to interact with it, including a number that you can now call and have a conversation with ChatGPT that way, if that's
Oh
your
wow.
preferred kind of method of interaction. So, tons of ways to approach these tools. But I think taking that first step has been a lot of the barrier for most people we talk to. The second thing I think is not understanding what AI is really capable of, right? Like we see people using it and creating a funny haiku about franchising.
Right.
That is such a silly use case and doesn't at all demonstrate the impact that this can truly have on your brand, on its growth, on your employees, on your efficiency.
Can
And
you
so I
give us
think
an
there's that.
example of one? Give us an example of where this has helped a franchisor or a franchise owner.
For franchise owners, one of the easiest ways to think about it is I have my local marketing spend that I am required to spend in my market. I
Right.
have some guidelines from the franchisor. I know my own demographics, hopefully, and my community, but I don't have a marketing degree, and I probably have no business coming up with a plan for the year. Using an AI tool to brainstorm through that, to say, you are now the CMO of my small business. This is my company name. This is how many locations I have. This is the market I'm in. This is my target demographic or customer. Help me build my plan based on this budget for how to allocate these dollars so that they have the most impact. And going back and forth and building out that plan is something that either would have cost you thousands of dollars,
Right.
either in outsourcing it or doing the incorrect things and not getting that ROI. Or it would have taken you hours and hours and hours of work that franchise owners typically don't
Don't
have.
have. Correct.
And so that's a simple use case, but being able to say, listen, here's the 4 main campaigns the franchisor will be pushing on my behalf during next year. Help me apply those at a localized level all year long. And here are the main channels I want to use to do that, or suggest the main channels that will have the most impact. You can continue that conversation, build upon it, and then execute it. Tell ChatGPT how those things are doing, screenshot a dashboard that you don't understand, and ChatGPT will help you walk through it. There are so many different applications like that that save you time and money that are ultimately going to help you scale more quickly and probably better than you would have without it.
Yeah, and probably some of there's applications as this continues to evolve that are going to come up 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road. We can't even like fathom right now. I would assume, correct?
I mean, months from now, I can't even keep track. This
Yeah.
month alone, all the brands have been doing some kind of like 12 days of Christmas or announcements all December long. And it has been nearly impossible to keep up. And this
Yeah.
is just one day to the next. AI is moving so quickly. And that's where leaning into a group of experts like our team is so
Right.
helpful. We're monitoring all of that for you. We're going to test it all and tell you exactly which one is probably the best tool for you to use.
Yeah, and that team again is stayinyourlaneco.com. Patti Rother, president of Stay in Your Lane. Thanks for joining us. Patti, if you can hang for a second, we want to talk a little bit more about AI and this new training platform. And if you'd like to hear the rest of the interview with Patti, hit up our YouTube channel, The Franchising 360 Show on YouTube to catch Patti. Patti, thanks for joining us tonight. Welcome back to the Franchising 360 show. And now also back with me is Danielle Wright. Danielle, loved the interview with Patti.
Yeah, I didn't get to hear it. So tell me all the things.
Oh, I wasn't listening either.
Oh, come on.
No, you know Patti way longer than me and have gone through Their stay in the
training.
game stuff on AI was fantastic and fascinating to hear about all of that.
Awesome. So good guest. Yay. I score some points. Yay.
Good guest. And even though, and we also have some bonus stuff on our Franchising 360 show YouTube channel for that as well.
I think anybody that watches this show should go and look at their stuff and see how to work with them. They're great people.
I said to her, and no kidding, like you've been bugging me about this a little bit, but Fran Coach is definitely going to be on the phone with Patti and their team very soon on this.
You definitely should. I still use a lot of their things. Like I was telling you, the AI shot, like I use ChatGPT in a totally different way now that they've kind of taught you how to do it. And again, you can't, being scared of the tools is a natural reaction, but train yourself on how to use them and use them effectively. Like don't do what the high school kids are doing, like using it to write your paper. Come on.
Where was that
but
back
for
in the
me,
day?
I'm not a great writer. Like I can come up with ideas and throw them out there, but the execution's a little hit or miss. Don't tell anybody. But I go in there and I type something in. It's like, this is what I really wanted to say. And then I can pull bits and pieces of it that really have my voice.
Yeah. And with most things that are tools, it's not meant to replace everybody on your payroll or everything you do. Or then the few times you've got me to kind of use it is if it was just a blank piece of paper, I'm going to stare at the blank piece of paper, right? But if you start me on something and really it's been able to do that, like, oh, that's good. Not so much that, but that makes me think of this.
And they tell you, like, I'm a big fan of stuff, but pay for the paid version of it if you're going to use it, because it has a lot more that you can put into it, right? Like it's a learning tool. So it's got to understand what you're asking it. And if you're repetitive about asking the same things, the really cool stuff that they do is a lot on the image creation. So if you're not a graphics person and you don't know how to make these images, there are some really cool AI tools, but beware, like one of the funny things is it like shows a hand coming out of someone's shoulder or something. So it really shows you how far AI has not gone. So don't be scared. But it's still a work in progress, but to be on the front end of that is going to help anybody, whether you're looking to franchise your business, whether you're looking to buy a franchise, whether you're a franchisor already and trying to say, what can I do better? How do I get ahead of the curve? This is something that has to be in your playbook for the next year.
And we talk a lot about investigating franchises and finding that right fit.
Yes.
And there's not a one size fits all. But if you're somebody that really likes being in that forward thinking organization, understanding where's that franchise system on this, or are they like, no, we're still going to use the yellow pages. I know that's the best way to go. Well, maybe that's your jam. I'd probably stay away from that. But again, understanding where this is on being adopted and what that franchise vision is factors in a ton.
Yeah, right. It should be part of that validation that we talked about.
Right.
Part of the validation isn't just phone calls with owners. It's kind of validating where that and the trajectory of their growth. And are they looking ahead, right? Are they the person out there building the Tesla truck before anybody really said, hey, let's have a Tesla truck?
Right.
So it's an important, again, tool. We'll keep stressing that it's a tool, but don't be scared of it. I think that's the biggest piece when I said to you, hey, maybe we invite them on to talk about AI, is to kind of squash some of that and just say, own where we are and participate in that.
Right. Just like, again, it's the fear is almost always out of the unknown.
Yes.
So it's not going to hurt us to learn anything. And
and if you don't use it, like there's no harm, no foul to that.
Right. And so one of the things as we wrap up is we've got a guest next week coming on that's from one of our franchise partners.
Yes.
And in the most random franchises that have nothing to do with technology to see where it rolls in.
And they've got some amazing stuff, and they're dealing in an industry that people are like, really?
I know. I love those, right?
But you love the industry, and I'm still like, I'm not sure.
I love the industry. I would never own anything in there
really?
too, which is also a great fit. But a lot more. Let's hit that up next week. And we got some more stuff on our YouTube channel about this as well too. But until next Friday, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on Biz TV. That is Danielle Wright.
That's me.
I'm Tim Parmeter, and this is the Franchising 360 Show.